Today is March 28th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 steps and 12 traditions. Today, out of the Big Book, we're on Chapter 6. In action, we'll read 74. Out of the 12 and 12, we are on Step 11. We'll read page 97. And of course, we'll read the 24 hours a day and daily reflection. So with that, hope you all are doing well this morning, my friends. It is Saturday morning. Get your cereal bowls ready. So, real quick, Saturday morning cartoons. I remember in Atlantic City, I don't know why I remember this, but I remember they used to air the Transformers cartoon, reruns of it, on Saturday mornings. And then, of course, Ninja Turtles, X-Men, Spider-Man in the mid-90s. Oh, what a time to be alive. So with that, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, my friends. So if you recall from yesterday's reading and the day before, we've spent a lot of time talking about step 5 and honesty. So we are going to continue that thought on the bottom of 73 and 74. We must be entirely honest with somebody if we expect to live long or happily in this world. Rightly and naturally, we think well before we choose the person or persons with whom to take this intimate and confidential step. Those of us belonging to a religious denomination which requires confession must, and of course, will want to go to the properly appointed authority whose duty it is to receive it. Though we have no religious connection, we may still do well to talk with somebody ordained by an established religion. We often find such a person quick to see and understand our problem. We sometimes encounter people who do not understand alcoholics. If we cannot or would rather not do this, we search our acquaintance for a close-mouthed, understanding friend. Perhaps our doctor or psychologist will be the person. It may be one of our own family. But we cannot disclose anything to our wives or our parents which will hurt them and make them unhappy. We have no right to save our own skin at another person's expense. Such parts of our story we tell to someone who will understand, yet be unaffected. The rule is that we must be hard on ourselves, but always considerate of others. Notwithstanding the great necessity for discussing ourselves with someone, it may be one is so situated that there's no suitable person available. If that is so, this step may be postponed only, however, if we hold ourselves in complete readiness to go through with it at the very first opportunity. We say this because we are very anxious that we talk to the right person. It is important that he be able to keep a confidence, that he fully understand and approve what we are driving at, that he will not try to change our plan. But we must not use this as a mere excuse to postpone. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Step 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for the knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Page 97. Sometimes we took a slightly different tack. Sure, we said to ourselves, the hen probably did come before the egg. No doubt the universe had a first cause of some sort. The God of the atom, maybe. Hot and cold by turns. But certainly there wasn't any evidence of a God who knew or cared about human beings. We liked AA all right, and we were quick to say that it had done miracles. But we recoiled from meditation and prayer as obstinately as a scientist who refused to perform a certain experiment, lest to prove his pet theory wrong. Of course, we finally did this experiment, and when unexpected results followed, we felt different. In fact, we knew different. And so we were sold on meditation and prayer. And that, we have found, can happen to anybody who tries. It has been well said that almost the only scoffers at prayer are those who never tried it enough. Those of us who have come to make regular use of prayer would no more do without it than we would refuse air, food, or sunshine. And for the same reason. When we refuse air, light, or food, the body suffers. And when we turn away from meditation and prayer, we likewise deprive our minds, our emotions, and our intuitions of vitally needed support. As the body can fail its purpose for lack of nourishment, so can the soul. We all need the light of God's reality, the nourishment of His strength, and the atmosphere of His grace. To an amazing extent, the facts of AA life confirm this ageless truth. "24 hours a day, March 28th. AA Thought for the Day. When you come into an AA meeting, you're not just coming into a meeting, you're coming into a new life. I'm always impressed by the change I see in people after they've been in AA for a while. I sometimes take an inventory of myself to see whether I have changed, and if so, in what way. Before I met AA, I was very selfish. I wanted my own way of thinking. I don't believe I ever grew up. When things went wrong, I sulked like a spoiled child and often went out and got drunk. Am I still all get and no give? Meditation for the day. There are two things that we must have if we are going to change our way of life. One is faith, the confidence in the unseen, the fundamental goodness and purpose in the universe. The other is obedience. That is, living a life according to our faith. Living each day as we believe God wants us to live. With gratitude, humility, honesty, purity, unselfishness, and love. Faith and obedience, these two will give us all the strength that we need to overcome sin and temptation, and to live a new and more abundant life. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may have more faith and obedience. I pray that I may live a more abundant life as a result of these things. Daily Reflection, March 28th. Equality. Our membership ought to include all who suffer from alcoholism. Hence, we may refuse none who wish to recover. Nor ought AA membership ever depend upon money or conformity. Any 2 or 3 alcoholics gathered together for sobriety may call themselves an AA group, provided that, as a group, they have no other affiliation. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 563. Prior to AA, I often felt that I didn't fit in with the people around me. Usually they had more or less money than I did, and my points of view just didn't jive with theirs. The amounts of prejudice that I had experienced in society only proved to me just how phony some self-righteous people were. After joining AA, I found the way of life that I had been searching for. In AA, no member is better than any other member. We're just alcoholics trying to recover from alcoholism. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. And man, some great stuff in all 4 readings today. I love the 12 and 12, talking about prayer and meditation, right? I've said many times before, I had no problem believing in a higher power. However, my perception of my higher power has changed over time. Thanks to the steps and thanks to just hearing people share their own experience, strength, and hope in the rooms and just my own experience. When I look back on my life in hindsight, even in the darkness of my alcoholism, I firmly believe that my higher power was there, and he was pursuing me even when I wasn't pursuing him. As I've said many times, I think about the times I stepped in a car and I could have killed somebody. Or I was drunk and I could have killed myself. And somehow I didn't. And I often question, why me? Why am I sober today? And I think my higher power is simply saying, Rob, I love you. You have great worth. But I also love my other children, and they have great worth. Go help them. And again, this is Robology. I feel like we are here for a reason. If we're sober today, we have a beautiful opportunity to help others. It's a wonderful thing. But I've noticed for me, I do need to pray and I do need to meditate. But I don't have to use fancy words to do it. For me, I try to talk to my higher power all day long. Real quick, I think I've shared it. My grandmother was a devout Catholic, devout Christian. And I always heard the story that she wasn't always that way. She had had heart surgery, and I want to say either she died on the table or during her surgery, she had this vision of her higher power. And when she survived the surgery, which was major surgery, back in the 80s, from that moment on, she dedicated her life to her higher power. And she would spend hours upon hours praying, right? And as a kid, I didn't understand it. Like, that seemed like such a waste of time. But look, here I am talking about her faith. Here I am talking about the countless people that she helped, she touched by sharing her faith. 26 years after she passed away. Here I am talking about, like, she would always say, Bobby, you're going to be a priest one day, you're going to, and I didn't believe in God when she would say this. I was a little kid and I didn't know what to think. And here I am talking about God in a very different way. But, what faith? So maybe there was something to all this prayer and meditation and this higher power stuff. And for me, I just try to do the same thing my grandmother did. I do it in a different way, but on the job, I'll pray. I'll be in the hallway and I'll just thank my higher power. Or one thing I try to do every day is thank God for the little things. When I walk home and I round the corner of my home, I'll touch the brick wall of my home. Thank God for my house, my family that lives within it. Or I see my little dog in the glass door and I'll thank God for my little dog. I'll thank God for the opportunity to play Barbies with my daughter. Or to play a video game with my son. Or go outside and play some hockey with the family. And I think for me, meditation, I do it a couple different ways. I'll go outside and just be and look at my higher power's creation. Or I'll slow down, cut all the electronics off, and just look around my room or wherever I'm at and find something I'm thankful for. Or I'll simply go back to the image of my higher power that I've shared many times. It's where I'm a kid again, sitting on that old bench beyond the chain link fence of my dad's house in Gloucester City, looking over Newton Creek, and my higher power's right beside me with his arm around my shoulder. And anytime I go to that image, it just gives me comfort and peace. And I know that he's always been there. Or I'll meditate on his word in the big book, right? And I always love the prodigal son story, where the father celebrates when his son finally comes back home. And somebody else pointed out another thing there. The father was always waiting. Every single day the father would be out there waiting for the son to come back. And finally one day, he does. And he celebrates instead of saying, I told you so. Oh man, I just think that's beautiful. So prayer and meditation, it's super important for me. That's the first thing I try to do when I wake up in the morning is say the third step and the seventh step prayer and just thank him for the life he's given me and help and ask him how I can be of use to somebody else today. And then I do this podcast. And like I said, all throughout the day, I do that spot check inventory and praying and meditating, trying to, right? But not out of necessity, or not because I have to, although that's part of it, but because I want to. But anyway, my friends, if you are sober today, you are a miracle. And I'm sure that those who love you are very proud of you, and you're giving a great gift to them by being sober today. And you have a unique superpower to help the next suffering alcoholic out there. And if you are not sober, I hope you know that you're a miracle as well, that your story is not done yet, and you have great worth. I was always told that we're worthy of recovery. You can do this, and I just pray that you'd find the help that you need today. Make that very first step toward change, and you don't have to do it alone. This is a we program. And as always, I don't speak on behalf of AA, NA, Al-Anon, any other sect. I am just a joyful drunk, honored to be here this early Saturday morning. And if we're given another set of 24 hours, my friends, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.